let's get it started. I wanted to put up a couple of things here before we move on. And first of all is this. This is the Byzantine art. Oh, wait, before I even do that, let me ask you about this. Any questions about the quiz that's due tonight at midnight? I got about half of them in, but it's not due until 11:59. Perspective drawing. Teresa, I saw that. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, good. Any questions? Seems okay. Good. Well, here, I want to kind of point this out. You know, when we studied other cultures, oftentimes we see a lot of different kinds of images, at least so far. We've seen a lot of stuff about great rulers of these cultures, pharaohs and kings. And we've also seen a lot of depictions of life, everyday life in these cultures. On the inside of an Egyptian tomb, for example, if you take a look at the wall paintings, you'll see paintings of people herding cows or harvesting wheat and stuff like that, as well as battle scenes. And we get so far into the Roman Empire and we start to see some depictions of more everyday and ordinary people. And so these are the slides from Byzantine Empire. And here, everything we got here, with the possible exception of this slide, it's all about religion. All of the architecture you see is devoted to religion. And all of the images we see devoted to religion, and there's not a lot of sculpture in this, but this is the throne of Bishop Maximus from Ravenna. And you see what the artwork that decorates this is, again, religious. Religion, religion, religion. Oh, we know about this one. You guys have been writing about it. Religion, 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 religion. Even the text is religious. And so this is quite a change from the cultures of the past, where it seems as though everything that we cover, at least in this textbook, and what was produced by this culture was based in religion. I'm telling you that because I really want you to think about that. And before we leave today, I'm going to talk to you about the group presentations. And that's one of the subjects or aspects of your presentation, of the subject of your presentation, that I want you to elaborate on. Who's in charge? what does the art, who pays for the art? What is it all about? We look at today's world, for example, and there's art all over the place. Would you agree with that? You guys are, some of you are studying interior design, which is an art. Some of you are studying game design. Some of you are doing sculpture, painting, graphic arts, commercial art. So it takes artists to even make something like this. And so it's a deliberate effort. It shows what the priorities are in the culture. We see it permeate our culture, and it's film, it's website, it's a lot of things. If you will, if you'll grant me this, we've seen paintings before, say, like this fresco. And it's up in the upper part of the apse. And so, if you will, grant me this without meaning to offend anyone, but if you were to do something like this today, it would probably be like IMAX. This would be 14th century IMAX. It's way up there, it's big, it's overwhelming. And so, like moving pictures, film, cinema, video, a lot of that has replaced what painting used to do, and it was the only way you could do it was with paint. And now it's like people can do their own videos. I love this stuff. So anyway, just want you to think about that. And you'll know that in today's world, there's still a lot of religious art and so on. But there was another thing I wanted to show you in this chapter. Wanted to kind of point out. And this icon, we're talking about icons. It's the art mode of the millennium. Icon, Emperor Constantine Center. And so I got to tell you this, like Emperor Constantine, at least in the Catholic religion, and I think in the Orthodox religion too, that he's recognized as a saint, Saint Constantine, and his mother, Saint Theodora. Saint Helena, just like Saint Justinian and Saint Theodora after him. But at any rate, First Council of Nicaea 325. Did we talk about this? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. This is what Constantine, this is one of the things that he did, was standardize Catholicism Christianity, and made it the same, or as much as they possibly could, because it had been a kind of set of disparate beliefs, and people were referring to very different texts in Christianity. So anyway, just wanted to say that. And today, I want to start talking about this from the beginning, make sure my share is proper so that Daniel and Nina can see it and that it records on my Zoom. So the Islamic world, let me give you a little introduction here. What happens after Justinian? We see this last surge in the 6th century of the Roman Empire. And when we see Justinian, when we looked at those maps, Justinian came and reclaimed the Italian peninsula, the Balkans, much of northern Africa, and a little bit of Spain. But at any rate, Justinian claimed all of this as part of the Roman Empire. And this is the Islamic world around 1500. So we're talking about 900 years difference. But in that 900 years, much changed. And what was predominantly Christian, and especially most of us being Eastern Orthodox Christian, not Roman Catholic. But at any rate, much of this was in the Roman Empire, and now it's the Islamic world. And all of the stuff here in Europe, we go through a period of, we're going to talk about this a little later on. It's called the Middle Ages. Some call it the Dark Ages in Europe, because actually after Rome falls, late 6th century, this all falls apart. There's no central unifying government. There's no central unifying idea except perhaps Christianity. And so anyway, bottom line is that this kind of goes backwards. It's kind of a, if you will, a Mad Max moment. You know, those Mad Max movies with post-apocalyptic civilization, if you will. That's kind of what happens in Europe. It all falls apart. And there are places in Europe that kind of hide out. They're called monasteries. And they set up monasteries to kind of keep the literature and the flames of the culture and the belief in Christianity alive. But not the case here. In this part of the world where Islam, where all of those people, most of all of those people convert to Islam, this part of the world thrives during those years. There's no big interruption like a Dark Ages. And in fact, we see all of these cities that are here popping up. Bottom line, this is, they're still moving great guns. Constantinople gets changed back to Istanbul. Basically, all of this area here, this is the Holy Land, Damascus, Jerusalem. And it's the center of Judaism. It's the center of Christianity, and it is a center of Islam. And so anyway, they're organized. They don't, and the sciences, the literature, mathematics, civilization thrives here. And it's not backwards, and it's not in the Dark Ages. I want to point this out here. This is Spain, and it says former Muslim territories. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. Actually, this whole area known as Spain today, it's called the Iberian Peninsula. That was all that was part of the Muslim world too. And it was kind of a point of contention between France and the Moors from Morocco, from this part of North Africa. And Spain was thriving under Islamic rule as well. They had great libraries, they built great mosques. It was a much more advanced society than what we've seen in Europe. I'm just telling you this. The British operative, Lawrence of Arabia, they made a big epic movie about him about 50 years, 60 years ago. He was a British officer and he was stationed in Cairo in the First World War. And basically what, by that time, much of this area was governed by the Ottoman Turks. And what Lawrence of Arabia did was to gather all of these people from the Arabian Peninsula to help throw out the Turks. But he was astounded when he started his journey into the Islamic world, because he recognized immediately that they had not, in this part of the world, had this terrible dark ages. And in fact, he wrote extensively about how impressed he was. He was talking about how in the Islamic world, they had advanced cities, they had street lights and clean buildings and stable government and high mathematics, a whole bunch of things, while, as he said, while we in Europe were beating each other over the heads with clubs. I thought that was a pretty good quote. I think it tells you a lot about what was happening. And so you can see it. It covers a great deal of territory. And if we were to get a better picture of it, we would see that it goes even through India and then down into Southeast Asia, like Indonesia and places. Even parts of the Philippines are predominantly Muslim. And so anyway, it's big and it produces its own art. And I want to start with this building. And this is the earliest example we have of Islamic architecture. It's the Dome of the Rock. And it has, and here's the rock that's inside. And this is the inside. And so tell me, what's the first thing you notice about the interior and its walls as compared to much of the other places we've seen? How does it compare?
It looks more like elegant. I don't think it's beautiful.
It's very elegant, absolutely. And another aspect,
There's no iconography.
no iconography. Yes, it's purely, it's based on, see, and it's, I got to tell you that this, to me, this is like so magnificent. This is in a lot of ways geometric patterning. It shows a high level of the understanding of geometry. So they have this ornate patterning. No images, we don't see pictures of or representations of people. But this is advanced patterning, and it's only way you can do something like that is if you understand advanced mathematics. And so, yeah, and everything, the capitals, Mostly something of a Corinthian style, covered in gold. The archways, alternate white and black granite archways. That's a Roman idea. And you see, they build on a lot of things that the Romans do. And secondly, it's got stained glass, but it's unlike the cathedrals and things we'll see in Christianity. There, again, no iconography. And so what you'll find a lot of in Islamic architecture is that if there is anything on the walls, it won't be iconography, it will be calligraphy, it will be words, holy words from the Quran. And so, but the writing itself, extremely elegant. We'll see some of that too. This art form, it extends into illustrated manuscripts, but they don't do it the same way that we see in Christianity. Christianity, they write some and then put a picture on the bottom. What we'll see is this highly just beautiful script. And so anyway, I want to give you a little background on this. And so I'm going to play this video, but I got to shut off my record because when YouTube gets it, they'll think I'm pirating this video. And so